well. And we're going to continue talking about tech. It's obviously the sector people love to look at. And how about SpaceX? This one is still private. There's so much talk about when will the IPO be. Nobody knows if there's going to be an IPO, and maybe you want to be invested. But one ETF has a way to do exactly that. Eva Ados is with us, Chief Investment Strategist at ERShares. Eva, it's great to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Thank you so much for being with us. I look forward to hearing more details on how investors can get into SpaceX. I mean, how have you been feeling about the market overall?
So we created, let's put things into perspective. I'll start with giving a description for your Schwab listeners at home. Let's go back in '97 when Amazon goes public. It went public at about $500 million in valuation. Since then, it came up 4,000 times, now valued at $2.3 trillion. When you look at Nvidia that you just mentioned, went public in '99, again, $500 million of valuation, went up 6,000 times since then, at about 3.2 trillion of market cap right now. When you look at the private market, we have SpaceX right now valued at $350 billion, and that's still private. So for SpaceX, which we believe will be the next great Magnificent Seven, if it ever reaches that level, that means it will go up only 5 to 10 times. And that shows us that now in today's environment and market, many returns happen pre-IPO. And that's why we decided to create an ETF. The ticker symbol is XOVR. It's the crossover ETF that combines private equity and public equity to allow the everyday investor get access to these companies. And SpaceX right now is our biggest weight at about 10% of our portfolio.
That's pretty amazing, because that does give people an opportunity. They want to get into private equity. They don't know exactly how to do it. To have an ETF that has other names in there as well. I know we'll get to some of those, but looking at SpaceX in particular, it's very interesting you talk about the growth that we saw for Nvidia, for Amazon. And, you know, it's hard to say if and when SpaceX does go public, how many times it can grow. It sounds like you're being conservative on, if it were to go public, that you think a lot of the growth is happening here behind the scenes, right?
Exactly, and I think there will be more and more companies like that. Companies right now tend to stay private for longer. So we think, let's say for Elon Musk, he does not want to have nuisance lawsuits when the company goes public. So some entrepreneurs tend to keep companies now private for longer. And then as a result of this, most of the returns, or many of the returns, happen pre-IPO. Now, historically, only the top 1%, the accredited and institutional investors, were able to get access to these companies. And so that we want to change that. We want to democratize access to private equity and allow the everyday investor, anyone out there, get access to these companies. So the XOVR ETF has no minimum requirement. You don't need to invest millions of dollars. Has daily liquidity. You can buy and sell the same day, and it's marked near market value, which is the only ETF and product that allows that.
I think it's interesting. We're showing some of the top holdings. You don't have, and you have a lot of the Mag 7 names in there. I don't see Tesla in the top list there. I guess you have enough of Elon Musk with your SpaceX. Is that one of the reasons why Tesla is not really in the top names here?
So it is in the portfolio, not in the top 10, as you mentioned. We believe Tesla took Musk to the moon, but it's SpaceX that will take him to Mars, and us, hopefully. So, and when it comes to SpaceX, it's not just space, although we do believe that SpaceX will be the winner when it comes to space, because it's competing against NASA, which is and other companies which we don't believe are as efficient as SpaceX. But it also has the combination of Starlink. And Starlink is the cash cow of SpaceX. It has satellites in low orbit. That's low latency satellites that are much more efficient. They provide service not to underserved areas, and they compete against the most bureaucratic and sometimes most hated companies, the AT&Ts and the Comcasts. And so to us, it's an easy game when it comes to Elon Musk competing against these bureaucratic companies.
So I saw you also you have Meta, Nvidia, Google in there, Oracle. Some of the others in there, app-loving, Salesforce, and CrowdStrike. I guess you still see upside for some of those Mag 7 names. Nvidia will report this week. If we have time, I'm going to get back to that. You have it in there, so you're a believer. I'll assume that. How about a name like AppLovin? I mean, where does that fit in here in your portfolio?
So we were among the first to discover this name and speak publicly about it 2 years ago. This is an extraordinary growth story. It's a company that has amazing growth rate, and it's cutting its SG&A costs. It's widening its margins. It's an example of a company that's using AI to streamline its operations and become very efficient. So when it comes to its sector and space, it's by far the winner. And as we've seen, the company has come up thousands of times in the last 2 years. And we believe that will be a big winner when it comes to the app space. We continue to be bullish. It used to be our top one weight. We, because of the valuation overlays that we have, we had to come down when it comes to its weight, but we still believe and we're bullish when it comes to this company for the long term.
Right, and look, it's already up 600% in 1 year. It's been running up, but you still see upside potential. I will ask you about Nvidia. We're waiting on it this week. Options markets have some big prices put in for some swings. What will you do? What will you watch for? Will you buy more if it swings down?
Right now, we're not buying more. We will maintain our weight. We've been invested in Nvidia since 2005 when it was a $5 stock. They were making backup cameras for cars. That's the power that our model invests in entrepreneurial companies. And so that was a company that our model identified as a winner back then. So we continue to keep the company. It's a great entrepreneurial story. We're not adjusting its weight for now, but we believe that we want to prioritize companies where we see we're going to get the most returns. Again, SpaceX is the company that we think from now on will have an unbelievable growth potential. Right. And if Elon becomes a trillionaire, it's primarily going to be because of SpaceX.
Yeah, and look, you've had some heavy volume on the crossover ETF. I saw a 20 million position in SpaceX in December and added 13 million in SpaceX from you in January. So still of 13 million. So that's at least 30 million. So you are a believer on this one. And we thank you, as you said, to the moon, right? And so we appreciate that. We are to the moon for the Tesla and to Mars for SpaceX. That was cute, Eva. I like that. Eva Ados, ERShares. Nice to see you. Thank you.